morning! Nuclear Clown TV is live and on the air. I'm your host, Dave. I'm irradiated and tucked in and nice and warm. And today, I'm going to be reviewing the Snuggie. Nah, I'm just fucking with you. I'm not going to review this thing. I had you going, though. I saw you. I had you going, man. Today, I want to talk about some movies because, I don't want this channel to be negative and to be bogged down in shit I hate. That's not the point. It's not my fault things are bad. So today I want to talk to you about movies I really liked, and as you might imagine, they're older movies because nothing new is good. I talked about After Hours, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. And here are some more. Point Break. Everybody's gonna laugh at me, but Point Break. I love this movie, and it's you know what I'm talking about. It's the Keanu Reeves, and he's a surfer, and he's out there, and he's bank robbers with masks and guns and term limits and House of Legislation and things of this nature. But I really thought that Point Break was a great movie. Yes, it's Keanu Reeves and his dude accent. I know. But really, if you look beyond if you look a little bit deeper into the story, I really love how the relationship between the protagonist and antagonist work. It's rare to see in movies where the good guy and the bad guy honestly like each other, but it can never be there. One of them there has to be conflict, and it is inevitable, and it really is. It's beautiful. It's really well done because through this movie, it's never like, oh, I'm gonna get you. There's actually a relationship between the good guy and the bad guy that's beyond I'm gonna get you, sucker. And I love when they do that, and when it's really a complex kind of storytelling tool to do. And yes, it's got its silly parts. I'm not going to argue with you, but I loved it. I thought Point Break was just a phenomenal movie, and it is one of my favorites. So make fun of me if you will, but sticks and stones and all that good stuff. Next is a movie called Ghost Dog Way of the Samurai, which probably has the most ridiculous movie name you could think of. But it was a good movie. This has that kind of independent weirdness feel that I normally don't like in my films. But I really liked it. I like Forrest Whitaker a lot. I thought he was great in this movie. And the girl, Tricia Vesey, I think is her name, is probably one of the finest looking women I've seen on screen in a very, 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 very long time. And she is really something else. The movie is really good, and it shows I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain without making it sound really silly, but it shows kind of like the decrepit form that the mob is kind of taken in, and they're working with Forrest Whitaker's character as like a hired gun, and it's very, very good. It has its problems too, but just the angle it takes and I guess the approach that they did to this movie really, really got me into it, and it's one of my favorites. It really is. Not really much to say about it beyond that. It's kind of something you have to watch. If I go into the plot, you're gonna think I'm joking and you're gonna think I'm being silly, but just give it a shot. Give it a shot. On the next movie on my little list I got here of stuff I want to talk about is JCVD, which is about Jean-Claude Van Damme. See, Jean-Claude Van Damme, JCVD. It all makes sense. This movie is really, really surprised me. I read reviews on it like over last summer or something, and I thought, oh, that sounds like a pretty interesting movie. Jean-Claude Van Damme plays himself, and he's in. He goes back to his home country of. Brussels, I think, right? Anyone? No, there's nobody here. Yeah, and he's had his drug problems and his custody problems with his kid, and his movies are failing, and his career's really going downhill. And he the movie is about him getting wrapped up in this wild story, but he's playing himself, and he's really. It takes a lot of balls to kind of just totally open up your career and your personal life and do a movie on. I mean, it's a fictional movie, but it's based off like his real life kind of falling apart. And in one part, he has this monologue where he's just talking, you know, to you, and it's really, really powerful. And I haven't really been kind of if I can be gay for a minute, I haven't really been moved like that in a really long time. Probably because I watch these crappy movies. But JCVD is really good. If you have, it might be a little hard to find. It used to be on the Netflix Instant Queue, but they took it off. And it was really, really a spectacular movie. And on the cover it says the quote on the cover. You know, they have like review from so and so, and it's on the cover of the movie. This one says, "He doesn't deserve a black belt. He deserves an Oscar." And the quote is from Time magazine. So if you don't believe me, maybe you'll believe Time magazine. So yeah, JCVD, check it out. It's really, really good. And you know, I got some time left, so I want to talk about something. This couldn't be totally positive because I want to talk about something that sort of bothers me. The new James Bond. Well, he's not really new anymore. It's like I want to talk about Casino Royale that came out in like 1998 or so. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but I have to talk about this. Everyone said that movie was so great, and I was so looking forward to it. I thought the guy Daniel Craig, I thought was just a really, really good choice. I was looking forward to James Bond. You know, hey, sure, let's have some fun. Unfortunately, this movie is not fun. It's not bad, and it's not good. I mean, it's not a good James Bond movie. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're gonna think that I want gadgets and funky toys and stuff like that. And you know what? I'm gonna say, yes! Of course! It's James Bond! If he's just like a mercenary assassin psycho killer, it's just like an HBO action movie, you know? And nobody wants to see that. I mean, really, nobody wants to see that. And to me, it's about the spirit, man. It's James Bond. He should be fun. He should be out there having fun, but he's not. And what I was really looking for in this movie was kind of a progression of James Bond. You know, I wanted, since it's his first mission or whatever as the 007, I wanted to see him fuck up. I wanted to see him mess some things up. You know, Batman Begins is a perfect example. They showed his kind of progression. He starts out and he's wearing a ski mask and he's falling down buildings and shit. And they don't bog down the whole movie with it, but they show it, and it makes it a true origin story. In the first 5 minutes of Casino Royale, there's this like running, jumping action scene that's like better than any action scene in any James Bond movie ever. So it's kind of like saying James Bond gets shittier as he goes on. He starts out perfect, great, he's fucking everybody up, and he's humping 1,000 hot-ass girls. No room for error. And it's not very compelling. And no gadgets or anything like that. And I mean, if they're... I don't understand why it would be like, you know what, we have to make a more serious James Bond. Do you really? No, you don't. I mean, that's why James Bond is fun. If you take away the gadgets, he's a fucking cop. You know, like, nobody wants to see James Bond running around without funky stuff going. I don't know. And the bad guy I thought was a chump. So the bad guy owes money to bad guys who were more bad than him. So he's entering this poker contest so he can pay back his debt, or the bad guys will kill him. So he's a shitty... So he's like a middle guy? I don't know. I didn't get the bad guy at all. I thought that was kind of silly. And also the homoerotic torture scene where he's chained up and tied up in the chair with the ball. They need to see that. Yikes. But yeah, anyway, that's how I felt about Casino Royale. Come on. It's James Bond. Let's have fun. Let's have fun. Hey, have fun.